You think EcoBoost means getting V8 power with 4-cylinder fuel bills. That's the promise, the hook, the billboard. But if you've owned one past the honeymoon, you know the truth is more complicated. Power comes easy, heat comes with it. And over 5 years, that heat, boost, and complexity can turn efficient into expensive fast. Today I'm going to show you exactly where the EcoBoost wins, where it bites, and why older model searches are spiking again. If you're shopping an F-150 or Mustang, this is the difference between a great buy and a 4-figure surprise. Here's the prize on the table. By the end, you'll know the specific failure patterns owners report, the repair bills that hit most often, and the use cases where the 5.0 V8 quietly wins the long game. The villain is not the engine itself. It's the gap between the brochure and real-world ownership. Short trips, hot towing, cheap fuel, stretched oil intervals, parts that age in heat. That's where budgets get ambushed. Let's set the baseline. EcoBoost is smart engineering, small displacement, direct injection, turbo boost on demand. That means strong low-end torque without waiting for revs, which feels incredible in a truck. It also means the engine is constantly juggling heat management, oil quality, and airflow. When everything is right, you get the best of both worlds. When it isn't, you get a stack of little problems that add up to big money. What does that stack look like over 5 years? Start with the obvious, turbos. They live on heat and speed. Bearings don't love sludge, and seals don't love overheat. A single turbo replacement can land anywhere from "that hurt" to "I need to sit down," depending on labor and parts. Do both sides on a V6, add lines and gaskets, and the number moves again. Next is timing hardware and cam phasers. Stretch and rattle are not folklore. They show up in owner reports, especially when oil changes drift or cheap viscosity gets used. If you ignore it long enough, the noise becomes a symptom of a bigger problem. Then there's intercooler and condensation behavior. Fine on paper, but in humid climates or stop and go, you can get stumble that feels like a mystery until someone who knows the platform looks at it. Add in PCV and vacuum lines that harden, carbon buildup on intake valves from direct injection on earlier genes, and you start to see the pattern. No single monster, just friction, heat, and time. So why are older EcoBoost searches spiking again? Because the second owners are hitting the same mileage windows the first owners hit, and the internet remembers. Trucks that lived a gentle life are still heroes. Trucks that towed hot, idled cold, and skipped maintenance are writing the same checks their older brothers wrote. This isn't about panic, it's about probabilities. If you understand how heat cycles and driving patterns stress a boosted DI motor, the search spikes make sense. Let's put the EcoBoost next to the 5.0 V8, where people actually care. The 5-year cost to keep it happy. On fuel, EcoBoost can win, especially in flat cruising and light load. But add towing, altitude, or aggressive driving, and Boost eats the savings. Premium may be recommended or required in certain conditions to avoid knock and keep timing where it should be. On maintenance, EcoBoost is picky. High-quality oil, correct viscosity, on-time changes. Miss those and you pay somewhere else. The 5.0 is simpler. Fewer boosted parts, fewer hot rotating assemblies, more tolerance for imperfect habits. It won't make the same torque down low without gears or revs, but it also won't send you shopping for twin snail hardware. Let's map typical 5-year events. Spark plugs, shorter intervals on boosted motors. It's cheap insurance against misfire under load. Coil packs, heat kills them faster when they live near turbos. Carbon clean. Older DI systems benefit from it if you see rough idle or lost response. Later designs added port fuel to help wash valves, which is a real improvement. Oil leaks from seals that spent years at temperature. Annoying, not catastrophic, but they add to the tab. Cooling and intercooler upkeep flushes matter in trucks that tow. Stray oil in charge pipes points to issues that should be checked early. None of these are exotic, but stacking 3 of them in the same year feels like a trap if you didn't plan for it. Now let's talk driving patterns, because this is where the EcoBoost either shines or suffers. If you commute light, cruise at sane speeds, and keep your foot out of boost except when you need it, the engine feels like a cheat code. Quick passes, quiet cruise, respectable mileage. If you tow near max in summer heat, run short trips where oil never gets hot, or drive like every on-ramp is qualifying, you're living at the edge of the calibration. That's when heat soak shows up, intercoolers load with moisture, and oil shears faster. The same hardware, two different lives, two different 5-year stories. Question for you if you own one right now. Can you hear a brief rattle on cold start that goes away warm? Have you ever felt a stumble after humid highway pulls? Do you have a faint whistle that wasn't there last year? Little things. They point in useful directions. Rattle? Don't ignore chain and phaser noise. Fix early, not late. Stumble? Have the right person look at charge air behavior and software updates. Whistle? Boost leaks don't get better on their own. If you're shopping, drive the exact truck long enough to heat soak it, then repeat the drive. A 5-minute lot loop hides sins. A 25-minute mixed drive reveals them. Let's address the myth that EcoBoost always loses on longevity. It doesn't. Plenty of owners rack up miles with nothing but routine service. The difference? Use case and discipline. Oil on time, fuel that matches the job, cooling that isn't neglected, no bargain bin parts. If you treat it like a small turbo engine that works hard, it treats you like a grown-up. If you treat it like a V8 that can take forever oil changes and cheap everything, it taxes you for the difference. Where does the 5.0 V8 still win? Predictability. If you plan to keep the truck for a decade, carry weight often, and don't want to micromanage heat and boost, the V8's simpler life pays back over years. No turbos to cook, less timing hardware drama when oil change discipline slips, and a sound that asks you to downshift instead of down boost. MPG will be worse in some use cases, but the bill that never shows up is the best kind of savings. Let's run through owner archetypes and pick a winner for each. Daily driver, light duty, highway commuter who wants quick torque and doesn't tow heavy. EcoBoost. You'll love the torquey curve and the effortless pass. Just keep oil quality high, watch plugs, and don't skip cooling service. Mixed use with occasional towing, long highway trips, and the desire to keep the truck past 150,000 miles without thinking about charge air temps. 5.0 V8. It's calmer to own long-term. You give up some low RPM shove, you gain a simpler maintenance life. Towing at altitude or in heat near the limit. Either engine can do it with gearing and cooling, but the safer long-term bet is the configuration with more thermal margin and fewer boosted parts. Often the V8 or a different powertrain built for that workload. If you choose EcoBoost for towing, gear appropriately, use the correct fuel, and be religious about fluids. City short trip usage with frequent cold starts. Neither engine loves it, but EcoBoost hates cold oil and condensation more. Tighten oil intervals if you can't change the pattern, or take the long way home once a week to get temps where they need to be. Used truck hunters, listen up. Pull the service history by VIN, not just a summary report. You want to see oil change frequency, any timing or phaser notes, intercooler or charge air work, injector replacements, and fuel system cleaning. Scan for codes, active and pending, before you fall in love with the paint. Drive the truck long enough to be hot. Then make the seller pop the hood. Hiss, whistle, or fresh oil around charge pipes is a clue. And if the story is, they all do that, ask to see the bulletin number. Let's talk money because this is where the trap part lives. A single turbo plus lines and gaskets can easily run 4 figures. A pair with labor pushes that higher. Timing set and phasers? Also 4 figures with the right parts and a real tech. Carbon clean? Hundreds, not thousands, unless you turn it into a science project. Spark, coils, sensors, small stuff that nibbles. None of these by themselves make EcoBoost a bad buy. Stack them in the same year on a truck you bought because it looks like a deal, and you'll feel trapped by your own optimism. So why do people still swear by EcoBoost? Because when it's in its lane, it's brilliant. Tuning the torque to where you use it most makes a truck feel lighter and more expensive than it is. Paired with the right transmission and axle ratio, it tows beautifully up to sane limits. The later dual injection setups addressed a real-world pain point. And when you keep up with the boring stuff, oil, coolant, plugs, filters, it stays sweet. Where the internet goes off the rails is pretending one engine wins every scenario. It doesn't. If you want the rush and you're disciplined about maintenance, EcoBoost is the right answer for a huge slice of owners. If you want predictable and you plan to keep it forever, the V8 makes your life easier at the cost of fuel. If you plan to live on the limiter, neither is a miracle. You're buying wear, no matter what badge is on the fender. Here's the move if you're standing in a dealership right now. Ask for a cold start the next morning. Listen, drive it long enough to get everything warm. Feel. Put it on a lift and look at charge pipes and downpipes for residue. Look under the oil fill for sludge. Check the dipstick for fuel smell after a week of short trips. None of this is complicated. It's just real. If you're already in an EcoBoost and you hear a new noise, don't drown it in music. Document it. If you're out of warranty, get a real diagnosis before a small rattle becomes a parts cannon. If you're under warranty, make the dealer write what they heard, not just could not duplicate. Paper trails get repairs covered. Silence gets you ghosted. My verdict is simple. EcoBoost is not a scam. It's a tool. It rewards the owner who understands how it works and punishes the one who pretends it's magic. The 5.0 V8 is not outdated. It's a different answer to a different question. Pick the engine that matches your life for the next 5 years, not the next 5 Instagram posts. That's how you win the cost war. Drop your engine, year, mileage, and biggest repair in the comments. EcoBoost or 5.0. If you switched from one to the other, tell us why and what changed. I'll pin the most honest breakdowns so buyers see the real math. Next up, we're going after Ram's hidden reliability bills and the one dashboard warning that turns into a $5,000 problem if you ignore it. If you've got that story, I want it.